Hi. Um, this morning I was sitting doing my morning pages, and I wanted to focus on my issues with authority because I have issues with authority. And it's not just about what I thought it was about. Authority on the surface, meaning, okay, issues of people telling me what to do, or issues of maybe even like governmental structures, teachers, bosses, things like that. So I have issues with authority, and it goes really deep, and I didn't realize it until I've started this journey. So this might be another long-running video, but I'm just working out my stuff with you here. And I have a tarot reading that I want to do. So I went to the United Kingdom in November. On my way to the United Kingdom in November of last year, right after my mom died. And I was turned away at the UK border because I had business cards. And I didn't think about having business cards. I wasn't going to the UK to do business, but just being who I am, I handed the Border Patrol agent, because she says, well, what do you do? And I said, I'm a life coach. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, well, here's my card, and this is what I do and blah, blah, blah. And she looks at my card, and then she takes me into the back, and then they search my bags. And because I had basically all my stuff with me, because as many of you know, I sold everything in my apartment, and I was going to just wander the world for a few months till I figured out what I wanted to do and, mourned my mom's loss and all this stuff. So basically I had, a couple of bags. And no, I had 5 bags and my kitty. Well, I had 3 bags and my cat and her bag. So I had 3 bags. The cat had a bag, and then I had the cat. But I get to the border system, give her my card. She searches all my stuff. And actually, she transferred me to a guy. So they search my bags, and there are 4 boxes of business cards because I just stuck them in my bag. I hadn't thought about it, and I wanted to have business cards made. I had a great logo, and I was going to be, working on my spirit-centric business. So there are my business cards. Just hadn't thought about what I even was going to do with them. Like, I'm in an internet business. I don't even need business cards, but I felt it was important to have them, so I had them done. Anyway, that's just how you think as an entrepreneur, like you're a business person. Every business person has business cards. It doesn't matter whether you're going to use them or not. Every person needs business cards if you are business oriented. If I take business cards, I went to Nepal. I had 10 business cards on me at all times, hiking in the Himalayas. And let me tell you something, I gave them out. People, you meet people along the way. You want to be in contact. I give them a card. So it wasn't like I'm going to the United Kingdom to set up a business, because I didn't even know was going to be in the United Kingdom. I could have been in France. I could have been in Italy. I could have been anywhere. So I get there. They see these boxes of business cards, take me through all this rigmarole, and then they're like, well, you have to go home. So they put me on a plane going back to New York, which is where I came from. Transferred, laid over in New York. So they sent me back to New York. I had to pay an additional $1,000 to get Bastet back from the UK to New York. And there I was. So here I am in the hands of authority, and they're just my perspective is that they're just not seeing me. Like, they're just all focused on 4 boxes of business cards. And it doesn't matter what I tell them, no matter what I say. Like, I've just sold a business. My mom just died. The last thing I'm going to do is be focusing on opening a business. I'm focused on, mourning and being quiet. I had established a home in Wales, a place to stay for 2 months. And from there, after 2 months, I didn't know where I was going to go. But it wasn't about setting up a business in the UK. Although now that I think about it, Spirit Centric was this nebulous kind of internet business, and so maybe that is an issue. But it wasn't a UK-based business. It's an internet business that is, about spirituality, and I don't know. It's not even like, it's more of a project than a business. It doesn't even have like a set up money scheme. It doesn't even earn me any income. So how can it be a business? Yet. Yet. One of these days I'm going to set it up where it actually earns me some money, but that's just not where the focus is yet, So anyway, I'm dealing with this authority figure that is like, I'm an entity moving forward. I have my intention. An authority figure comes up and says, no, you can't come into our country. You have to go home. And anyone who has experienced that kind of thing, it really fucks with your mind. If I were going into the UK with the intention of doing harm, with the intention of staying there illegally and conducting illegal business there, then it would be one thing. But that's not my intention, and it wasn't my intention then. At that time, I was really focused on my mom. And again, even though I had my spirit-centric business, it wasn't about establishing business. It was the last thing on my mind. So here I have this intention of moving forward, and then this authority figure comes up and says, you can't come in. And it sent me into a spiral of memory. Not even a spiral of memory. It has just set the course for a whole new set of adventures. And understanding about who I am. And it's almost as if the universe said to me, honey, you're going to have to start looking at your issues with authority. You're a grown-ass woman. You can't keep conducting yourself in this way. You can't keep acting like a child who asserts her autonomy in an impetuous, petulant way, which is what I tend to do. I realized through my writings this morning that I feel very powerless. I know I just shifted from one thing to another, but I think this is I think this is the meat of what I have to say. All my life, I have felt like I am a powerful entity, a powerful force of being. I feel my power. I feel powerful. And yet, when I go out into the world, I feel powerless. So that has made me behave in a way that can be exceptionally aggressive, rebellious, mean, or angry, or just conflicted. So when I established my business, when I established Everyday Zen as a business, I had tapped into a way where my internal power, my I am connected self, my self that's connected to my I am presence, could express itself in a way that was highly creative. And it was a way that I was trained, building up. My history led me to this point. And it was in alignment. I did a lot of my business, I want to say that 98% of my business was set up by the books. I played by the rules. I had a business plan. I had all the proper permits. All my licenses were in order. Everything was really well done. And that's saying a lot for me because I was always a person who cut corners with things. Like I'd have businesses, but they'd always be just flying under the radar. But when I established Everyday Zen, I wanted to establish myself as a person of integrity. And I wanted the business built on integrity. And I did that. And the business thrived. We thrived. And so I left that business feeling like I was still holding on, knowing who I am as an authority. So I sold the business to another person who is in integrity. I think. I don't know. I can't say that. I felt like I was selling the business to someone who's in integrity, and I think I did. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to that. I'm not going to go into my ego's thing of, well, you never saw anything. I'm just assuming that I sold the business to a person of integrity because that's what I felt. So I sold the business to someone of integrity. We did everything on the up and up, and that felt really good. And then my mom transitioned. This feminine authority figure transitioned. And my mom was actually the feminine authority for me, but also the masculine authority for me because okay. I have no authority. I've got cat ass in my face. I have no authority. Love you. So my mom transitioned, and right before or right after my mom transitioned, I reached out to my natural father. And at this time, he wasn't ready to engage, or invest in a relationship with me. I'm still open. I think he might come around in time, but my mom was transitioning and I had that. So it's her loss, and then we can call him a rejection, but he hasn't really rejected me. That's what I feel intuitively. I feel actually that he might be open to something in the future. But what I needed was for him to reject me so that I could sink low into my ego and get deep into that wonderful dark shadow part of myself that housed my issues of authority. Because the message I've gotten is that I cannot move forward as a force without coming to terms with my own power. And in order to truly come to terms with my own power, I must come to know my power on all levels, and that includes dealing with other authority figures. So I have to deal with the authority figures, and I made a list this morning. There's my mom, there's my natural father. There is the governmental agencies such as the IRS, the Franchise Tax Board. There's the issues of banks, credit lending institutions, border patrol agencies, crossing borders from Canada to the US. We're sister countries, but there are still rules and regulations that must be honored. Anyone who travels a lot across borders knows that when you cross a border, the border patrol agents will ask you questions. Some of them seem really stupid, like an insult to your intelligence. But this is a part of their authority working itself out. They have a job to do on behalf of the authority that they represent. Oh, this is huge for me. This is a long ass video. If you are watching this whole video, I thank you. But I'm going to just keep going. So this border patrol crossing borders, the United Kingdom has a border patrol. Their border is interesting because you have to fly over the land and then you have to land. And that's when you confront the authority. It's not that you confront the authority before you get there. It's like, you know, if they had told me you have your business cards, you cannot even get on this plane, it would have saved me $6,000. And they did not. I didn't know. It's not the way it works. There's an assumption when you make a flight, you book the flight, you get on the flight, you assume that you're going to be allowed across if you're not doing something illegal. I personally wasn't doing anything illegal, so I assumed I was going to get in. My idea met up with this authority who said, no, your ideas and your expression are not acceptable. That felt like rejection. So all of these authority figures have to be placed in order for me, or placed in order, meaning in a perspective within my mind that I can relate to and that I can use in a way that benefits me in a real way, not benefits my ego, but benefits me in an energetic, spiritual way. Now, I have friends who are very much like me. We run into walls with authority all the damn time. And this has been going on for all my life. I've paid probably $4,000 in 1 year for parking tickets, for speeding tickets, or whatever, moving violations, not really speeding tickets, but moving violations based on, so that's one authority. And I got those moving violations that year because for some reason in my mind, I couldn't figure out how to get my car registered. Like, this is the kind of bullshit I'm talking about, man. Like, my issues with authority come up in ways like that, where I am creating this underlying sickness of I can't pay my car registration. What? So then you get pulled over because you drive with expired tags. What is that? And that's totally illogical. It totally doesn't make any sense, but it's a part of who I am, dealing with my psyche. It's a part of what my psyche is, So, yeah, this girl has got to grow up, And even though I don't have that as an issue, I went to oh Lord, this is the longest video ever. I'm going to stop this video.